have Ravi from HBS and Citrix.
And Citrix. Okay, cool. So, so the first opportunity is for Harvard Angels, which is really a very early stage, first money in philosophy that we have. It's an early group that's just formed in the last 6 months here in India. And the essential value prop is they're very global. So we bring to bear both the university's assets and its connections, its faculty, its student body, and its alumni network across the world. So there are very active chapters in 14 or 15 countries, 14 if you take out of India out of the situation, but there are very, very active angel groups there. Over 100 angels in each of those groups that are actively investing and are very interested in working with Indian startups. So we'll work through our chapter to invest in your startup. So it's a great opportunity to go global with us. So feel free to reach out. Very early stage, 100 to about 250K. First money in philosophy. What areas? I tried to outline kind of, solo-mo, social, local, mobile, cloud, SaaS, something that's capital efficient. We're not looking to do lots of retail. We're not looking to do lots of hardware. It's stuff we understand. The membership here in India is pretty small. It's about 20 members, all of whom are executives actively in very large MNCs or in startups, successful entrepreneurs who have exited startups themselves. And almost all, with the exception of a few, are alums of Harvard overall, right? So that's the first opportunity. And just to kind of give you a feel for, you can just read the rest of the slide. We've done one investment. We've got a few in the pipeline coming. The Citrix Startup Accelerator is very different. There we invest in firms globally. We have 5 R&D centers around the world, and we invest basically in the 100 to 250K range. It's not a price round. I think there was a question earlier. It's actually a convertible note. It's extremely founder-friendly, and it's extremely biased towards very experienced teams in general, with the one exception being actually the investment we made in India, which is actually a very, very promising but very young team. In fact, we had a term sheet out for Mukund, for instance, an experienced entrepreneur. He pitched to the Citrix Accelerator last, I think, May, right, Mukund? And so one of the things we encourage people to do is to come out to the Valley. We actually have a space there which we provide you for up to 18 months in addition to the investment. Citrix is a very acquisitive company, so we have almost 50 acquisitions in the company. As a result, we have teams. There are 50 CTOs at the company, many of whom have actually done multiple startups. There are similarly, many, many dozens of VPs of sales, business development, CEOs too, at the company that you'll have access to. So given our kind of very broad range ecosystem connections from that kind of seeding, right? For instance, I'm on the global CTO office, and every one of the people at that table has either been a CEO or a CTO of a startup that was acquired by Citrix, for almost, with a couple of small exceptions, right? And so that you'll have access to that network. You'll have access to every one of our customers, possibly in areas that are very strategic to you. We have 250,000 customers around the world. And we've made 14 investments. You'll see some of these up here. We've already had one exit in 9 months, a company which Symantec acquired. We've had one A round completed and several in the pipeline. So we've got one Indian investment, Brexit, which is an email startup, very promising one. And we're looking to do a few more this year. So glad to reach out. If anyone of y'all want to reach out, we'll be glad to talk with you. My email address for both of these, I'll just give you my personal email address. That's the easiest way to reach me. It's ravi.gururaj@gmail.com.
Excellent. Okay. We've got, keep going. I've got a mic. I've got any more questions before? I've got 3 or 4 questions here, unless, do you guys have a lot of questions? All right. So Ravi, just in a quick, can you tell us what's different about the Citrix Accelerator than maybe some of the VCs that have pitched so far? I know that one thing that you said is you do convertible. Most VCs here will not do.
Right.
Tell us more. How do you differentiate yourself amongst the VCs rather than Citrix?
Right. So, we come in where we collaborate with the VC community possibly. So in sense, we'll syndicate with them. So oftentimes we're actually looking to take this company to a state where it's fundable, right? Oftentimes it's very experienced entrepreneurs who come to us, they have an idea, they need a place to gestate for a little bit, and they're already talking to the VC community, but they need a little bit of money to build the initial prototype, put the first year together. They've got a very experienced team, but that is coming together. They don't want to have any friction in terms of having to figure out where to house themselves. And they want access to people who they can bounce ideas off, right? And kind of validate where they're headed. So that's the kind of environment we provide in the Valley. And, you know, it's an experiment with Citrix too. It's an experiment where we are trying to get connected to the ecosystem in a way that, you know, both benefits us financially and benefits us from a technology, kind of early stage technology and trend acquisition perspective, right? It keeps us connected to what is new and fresh out there on the bleeding edge that will kind of maybe hit us as a large company in the space a few years down the road, right? So we're willing to experiment on very, very early stage stuff. We're willing to experiment on paper plans. We're willing to even take people in who are very good teams with great domain expertise in certain areas that maybe have an initial idea, but need to formulate it more and maybe even pivot while they're at the accelerator, right? Pretty intensely. So that's where we may be different than VCs that would want something that's got a little more traction, a little more substance, and a little more structure, right?
Okay. Any more questions? Yes, go for it.
So, though I understand that the hardware causes the capital efficiency issues, but there is a new set of the things which is currently happening with Jelsin with the mobile development, which is the accessory development. Now, I'm not talking about the keyboard, I'm talking about the other accessories which have been released. For example, medical devices. Does that changes the VC perception about the hardware?
Repeat the question in a shorter way.
So the question was, yeah, you know, the initial premise is people don't like to touch hardware, but there are lighter models of hardware that, you know, things that attach to mobile devices that may provide value-added services in certain specific things. For instance, medical instrumentation devices of various kinds, right? So your question is, does that change the perception? I think, you know, if hardware starts to look like software, some pieces of hardware are almost programmable, right? They're very light, they're easy to manufacture at scale and early in the process, then possibly, you know. I mean, the thing that worries people about hardware is it has a long cycle time to get manufactured. You need to do it at scale to get to the price points, even to do beta trials, right, oftentimes. And you need to get the design right. But if it's programmable, redoable, very low price point, or something generically available that you can reuse, great. For instance, if you took what, you know, for instance, Square has or something, you could buy it off the market from Taiwan and come in, and it was necessary for your software platform, I don't think anybody would have a problem with that, right?
Great. I'm going to hold on. Thank you very much, Ravi. Thank you very much. I need both.